A lot people watch a lot of American movies. When there's an emergency situation, you see 911, they run, and that's the same picture I want to place in Cameroon. I want people to picture that kind of scenario. So that's what the same services that they watch on movies. When they call 911, you see ambulance coming, you see people running, trying to save life. It's the same situation we're trying to mimic in Cameroon.
That is fantastic. Thank you all for joining us on another episode of Iwing Marketplace Chit Chat, where we give the opportunities for entrepreneurs to talk about themselves and what they do so we can learn from them and connect with them. Right here, I'm with Cyril of Brightface Emergency Service. Cyril is a change maker, and we are happy to have him on this platform today. Thanks for joining us, Cyril.
Oh, thanks so much for giving me this opportunity, Iwing Marketplace, and it's a great pleasure to be on this platform.
It's so wonderful to have you as well, and you're doing an amazing job out there. You know, you're really creating change in our community, you know, with the emergency service you have just set up, and we're so happy to talk about that. But can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm go by name Cyril Agbor, and maybe on Facebook too. I go by name Cyril Bright, and so I'm based here in the US, and also the founder and the CEO of Brightface Emergency Service Cameroon.
Wow, that's amazing. This is such a great initiative. Kudos to you. You know, I've watched the videos you've made to explain what Brightface Emergency Service is all about. I wish so many people could watch that. But can you please help us understand what is Brightface Emergency Service?
Yeah, by the name itself, Brightface Emergency Service, we can actually tell that is something that deals with life saving. And we want, just like our logo says, our motto says, first at the scene. So we want to be those people that you can rely on in case of emergency service at any given time, be it accident, be it or any health issue. Maybe pregnancy cases at late at night, where sometime in Cameroon and in Africa as a whole, we don't have this opportunity to have the right method to being transported to the hospital. And you know, sometimes things are not really where we want, and we don't know when unforeseen circumstances can happen. So that's why Brightface Emergency Service comes in to help people and try to maybe change the mindset that we don't always have to carry people behind a taxi or give them through private ride or maybe through on top of Okada. Like many cases I've watched videos, and recently I watched one that in the Northwest province where a guy was being shot. He was shot, but he was transported through wheelbarrow while he was bleeding. So that's where we are coming in as a Brightface Emergency Service to try to help to teach people to take action rather than to observe.
Wow, I kudos. This is very, very needed. I mean, growing up in Buea, I don't think we have many of those. We have any of those services that can pick you up in an ambulance. So why did you decide that to start in Buea? Why Buea? And why did you decide to start this initiative?
So I know, charity begins at home, as everybody knows that. So I grew up in Buea. I went to school, I think, from class 6, Catholic School Buea Station, and also Intercomprehensive High School, Grace Support Buea, and also Lycée Moliko. So pretty much I know my way around there. And so I wanted to start something where I know people can actually see we can start somewhere and move forward. There's always a beginning at every given point. So I think that's where I kind of like, maybe let's start from home, and from there we can travel all over the places.
Wow, I really like the fact that you emphasize that this ambulance, is to pick up people from their home to the hospital. This is amazing because sometimes, growing up back home, I remember when I was still very young, you know, sometimes we have when you haven't traveled, you have there's this belief, because you're not exposed, that an ambulance is just to take people who are like during their wake keep or something, or death ceremony, the ambulance carry people to the burial.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what we knew, like back home when we're still very young. But can you explain to us, like, what is this ambulance, you know, that you've brought, you know, this emergency service, you know, in details, like what it's about?
So I would start based, like, you know, here in the US and even other parts in European countries where you have ambulances, like not only to carry the dead or the deceased and stuff like that. So, but you know, this ambulance is a medicalized ambulance, fully equipped with all the necessary thing that can help someone during any emergency situation. So it's just like a mobile hospital, I should say so. So it's not about we're carrying cups.
Mm-hmm.
No, we want to be there, like that services that has the oxygen to provide you if your difficulties in breathing. We can dress your wound, be it accident, all this kind of thing. We have those nurses beyond. We have nurses and not people who carry cups. Like back, I think some year back, we had these guys who dance with cups behind them in, I think in from Ghana. So we are totally different. We are focused. It's just like people watch a lot of American movies. When there's an emergency situation, you see 911, the run, and that's the same picture I want to place in camera. I want people to picture that kind of scenario. So that's what the same services that they watch on movies. When they call 911, you see ambulance coming, you see people running, trying to save life. It's the same situation we're trying to mimic in Cameroon.
That is fantastic. And do you operate like inpatient hospital at the same time, or how? What's your model? How do you operate?
So I'll say 100% at this particular moment. We are more focusing in trying to solve the problem where, you know, a lot of emergency situations happen and people don't have the means to go to the hospital. So we are right now trying to come in, provide the first aid that is needed. And also our main goal is maybe on a longer run, we can also have our own a little emergency center, where a little outpatient where people can come in case of any emergency situation, we can treat them there. And in case where it's not within our capability, we can go take them to other hospital at the same time, give them the first aid that is needed. So our goal right now is to partner with any doctor, any hospitals around Southwest, and be it where, because we're not limiting ourselves only in Buea or in Limbe or wherever. I think we have gone up to Bafoussam to pick up a patient to Yaoundé. So we are pretty much all over wherever we are needed, because we operate 24/7. So at this time, we have nurses and that have been trained, state nurse from Cameroon who have been trained in paramedics, that's in first aid knowledge, basic life support knowledge, and also we have a doctor too. So we can pretty much operate in a way that we're in a mobile hospital. So in case of anything, we can just bring our entire team and attend to you the best we can. And if it's not within our capability, then we'll take it to our partners hospitals around.
So now, which partners hospital do you have at the moment?
Right now we have
Like
been
how many?
receiving, we have the regional general hospital in Buea, which is being managed by Dr. Mukake, and
Mm-hmm.
Solidarity. So those are hospitals that will be receiving calls from them. So we are yet to actually have a final, maybe a memorandum of understanding with them, but that's something is in the pipeline. We're going to do that, have a good agreement. So, and not even limiting just those big names, and maybe all be it big or small hospitals around, because sometimes people prefer to go to smaller hospital because they know they won't charge them so much. So that's what
Right,
we want to make sure we are available everywhere to people to have access to the ambulance.
right. So for a first aid service that you provide, or like first emergency, you know, service back home, I think people uh, probably are still new to something like this. Can you tell us more about it? Is it expensive, or, you know, what are the procedures?
So the whole idea about about Brightface Emergency Service is to solve a problem that we are facing. So I went in there to solve a problem, try to make people that, okay, we identify a problem, how can we solve it? So the monetary comes pretty much the last aspect of the whole entire initiative. I want people to know that, okay, if there's a problem, it's an accident, it's not about standing there taking pictures. You can also come out there, call the ambulance, and we'll attend to you. So I've opened maybe a subscription as low as 1,000 a month. So entire year you can subscribe for your entire family for maybe 12,000 CFA. And also we also do a community-based way of payment where we can go, since I like the way our community in Cameroon being structured, where we have quarter head, we have chief. We'll go to community and meet with their quarter head and the chief. So we gather the people and tell them, okay, people can have an ambulance service in your community, just like how you can also have a community that pay for water in that community. So why not also pay, maybe every household pays maybe 3,000 francs for the whole family. That will cover them for the entire year. So that community base is already covered. So when they're being covered, what we also go to there, we'll teach them maybe on a quarterly base, basic first aid, where we'll go and teach them basic first aid, CPR, maybe go out there and check their vital signs and just keep them in the loops of what's going on in terms of their health check. So that's pretty much how people pay for. And also we also extend to the fact about maybe you have taxi union, taxi union, you have people personal cars, you can do it as an individual too. So those kind of things that encourage people should not see the ambulance as how it looks fancy and big, that is just for the rich people. No, for basically the focus is for the community, because the local community suffer a lot. So that's why we want to like go and bring this thing to them, let them see how they can actually benefit from it.
Wow. This is fantastic, man. Truly, you are a change maker. You know, you're doing amazing. Kudos, man. So, I mean, just carrying on this kind of project, and you know, I've tried to look at your background, but I really want to get it from your own mouth, you know, like, what training did you undergo to do everything that you're doing like this? Because I mean, looking at where you are, that's a lot of work.
Exactly.
So you have to know what you're doing to be this successful. So tell me, I mean, would like to know.
Yeah, so basically, I had my undergraduate back in 2017 in healthcare administration from the University of Toledo. And I did commission as an officer in the U.S. Army, as a logistic officer. And also, currently, I have went undergo first aid training in the military. So, and also not only those training, but the passion. You know, when you have that passion to help people, that plays a lot of what you can go, how far you can go in everything you do. So because I usually say myself, maybe I would have used the money and maybe get my own Range Rover, go to Cameroon and make those noise, or maybe open a bar, you know, a lounge somewhere that people can come and drink so I can have daily income. But I didn't think about that part. But the fact that I always think that if each and everyone who is in Europe, in America, you always have that no, you see something that is benefiting people here and you take that back home, I think we can also go a long way to become maybe close to a developed country. So that's the kind of thing I do. So right now I just have my master's in cybersecurity management and policy. So I'm pretty much everywhere. So all these things and the fact that I have the passion to help people, and also I see it maybe as a call. So that's kind of like those things that push me to do what I'm doing.
Wow. So I mean, this is a very wonderful initiative. You keep hearing that from my mouth because it's actually, I always love when, you know, people are, you know, impacting the community, you know, doing things that are to the benefit of everybody, you know, and this clearly shows you're selfless, you know, thinking first about people, thinking first about the community. This is really wonderful, and I'm calling on, you know, all the doctors who will be watching this and to take advantage of the emergency service that you're providing, so that, you know, people can be, you know, lifted to wherever they are and quickly to the various hospitals, you know, in order for lives to be saved. You know, I know this is like what we really need at the moment. So, but can you explain to me, like, what are the lessons you've learned so far from starting this project to where it is?
Yeah, the lesson, you know, sometime I would say to myself, I should have quit, you know, facing some of the difficulties that I've faced so far, just from the beginning, that I had to get the ambulance itself, ship it through Nigeria, or to go through a court. And there was a time even I had to send guys to go pick up the ambulance, and they get arrested by the gendarmerie in Manfi. Because the guy, when they came, they put all the light, and those people were scared because they have never seen an ambulance of that nature. So they thought maybe those are people who help to supply stuff there. And I had to go to Manfi myself. You know, it was risky, so I had to go there and see what I can do, and all those difficulties, and go to Cameroon, meet with some top official, tell them this is what you are here for, this is what you want to do with the ambulance. And, you know, they kind of like maybe tell you, you know, we don't have any guidelines that can authorize such an initiative. And I say, yeah, exactly, we don't have it, but, you know, this is something new. Why can't you welcome it and see how we can help the population and the community as a whole? So, and they were like, no, we cannot allow you to operate. So those are difficulties. And also when you bring something new and people, you know, people make comments like, oh, it's a good something, or just like the common saying that it's better action, will it take, kind of thing. So those are, but, you know, I always like when people judge, because it makes me to think beyond that. I go, because when you see someone say no, I see it as a new opportunity. I want to sit back and ask myself, why this person saying no for this? And people are like, how will people pay for these services? How will people do this? You know, how will people call? The number is too large. We have 9-digit numbers. And I say, you know, those are kind of things that make me to think out of the box. And I always come with a little solution and say, okay, no, people cannot call. You know, we have taxi union. Taxi union can also pay for these services to cover them, community-based, those kind of, yeah. So I bring those little things and say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And they say, what about the government? Will the government allow you to operate certain things like this? Because, you know, the government will think it's a challenge. I said, no, I don't see the government because it's a challenge. We are just, the government is doing what they are doing. We're just here to support to what they are doing as an addition to what they are doing to the community. And also, they say about taxes, people are saying, no, first of all, I'm doing this to solve a problem. Let people identify that, hey, they have a problem. When there's an accident, they always carry people on Okada, and at the end, they'll make statement in pidgin like, oh, he died for road. So these are this is what I'm bringing to prevent such statement. This is what I'm bringing to prevent people being transported to hospital while bleeding on a bike, and all those kind of things. So it makes me, those are a little challenging from ourselves, not from the external world, but within our own set, because we see it as something that can only works in Europe, can only works in America, but they don't see, because why? They are already used to that mentality that maybe someone is bleeding, we can just carry them. The first thing is to take pictures, or the first thing is to stop a car. I've been in a situation that actually pushed me to, you know, to have so much passion about towards this thing, is the fact that I was in Cameroon back in 2018, and there was an accident, like a serious one. I think I had the picture on my website, but I had to take it up because it's really graphic. From a bike and charter leg bleeding, and people were just standing there taking pictures and crying and trying to stop vehicles, or let's take them. People, hey, someone said, I cannot allow you to carry someone behind my car because he's bleeding, you're going to stand my car, and he drove away. So I went there, I ran towards, like, just like the mentality we have here in the military, when something happened, you run towards it, you don't run away from it. So I went there, took my t-shirt, applied technical, tried to do what I can do to stop them bleeding and keep them calm. And actually one person came and said to me in pidgin, "This man, you get hard though."
Wow.
So those are kind of things that people are, so even a lady came and saw it and passed out.
Wow.
So those are kind of things. So people don't know what to do.
Man,
Anyway, people know what to do. They know what to do, but is to take what they know to do is to take pictures and trying to say, oh, this is what is going on. But they actually, there's a reaction that is they can do to save life. So that's why actually those are kind of signs that make me, you know what, no matter the difficulties, I should go continue. Like, you know, people need, even we carry 2 people in 1 year, with time, this
it will
thing will
grow.
be top of it,
Right.
definitely.
And I really like the model that you're working with the community. And I really like the lessons you've learned, you know, like the critics coming from people. And you saw that like a blessing. Because a lot of time when people go into something and then they get words from naysayer like it's not gonna work, this action will take, you know, those kind of funny things, and people will just give
Yeah.
up easily, you know. And when you give up easily, you're doing a disservice to your own self. It means you are not really serious in the first place, because you know this is something new you're doing, so everything has to be innovative. You have to come out with your own idea on how it can work. And then God gave you that vision. So it's only for you to actually sit down and think about a strategy that can work for your community. And that's what you're doing. Cyril, I'm very proud of you. At first, I thought maybe you're driven by money. But now I'm realizing that, you know, it's not even money that is the center of your focus. I can see clearly the love for people. Or you can tell me more about it. What really drives you?
Yeah, you know, I always say like everyone has uh, a call in this world to come and maybe your own something that you have to come and give to the community before, or maybe to the world before you leave. You know, so I see it as being part of me, like, you know, community, not only because I traveled to the US, but while I was in Cameroon, I always have that goal to assist people. You know, I can maybe come here from school, assist someone, maybe a lady carrying something on their head, or like, oh, let me assist you. So the fact that I always try to put people first before I do anything, just like being a military as a leader, as a platoon leader, I always put my people first and see what their difficulties before I can actually go ahead and carry out with the mission for the day. So I've seen a lot of stuff, seen a lot of crazy stuff, and you know, the only way we can do to make life better is to make sure we do it our own little way that we can. And you know, sometimes you say we start something with a passion of like maybe we want to make money, because when you go into something and you don't have that passion in doing it, you're never going to succeed, no matter how much money you put into it. I said this, I didn't know like you're just a blessing, like I could afford that ambulance. Because people say, I'm like, oh man, is it, yeah, it is something really, you should get that ambulance. But when you have that passion, everything will fall in place. And we have been starting from maybe going up, coming down. Like from the beginning, we had the ambulance were giving a lot of trouble. I don't know why, you're due to maybe climate change. I don't know if it affected the ambulance. There was a time the ambulance was down like for a month. Or like that was a time that I was like, say, okay, let me give up. This is not going to work. But you know, I had to buy part for here and ship it to DHL, which is really expensive to get the ambulance back on. And we have some difficulty. And every day we're still facing some difficulty, but the fact that the end matters. What am I trying to achieve at the end? That's what actually pushed me each and every day to, like always say, this ambulance is down. I say, don't worry, I'll look for money, we're going to fix it. Because I see a greater future ahead of it as BFES to become maybe one of established a first aid, no, emergency center in Cameroon, and also maybe other parts in Africa that can actually, they are facing the same difficulties. So those, the goal, the end goal is pretty much that what's driving me.
That is fantastic. And you know, you're just starting. When you're starting something, give yourself 3 years to 4 years to actually learn. The starting process is the learning process where, you know, you're learning a lot of stuff. Kudos to you, man. I'm really, really proud of you. I'm really proud of what you're doing, helping the community. But there's so many people out there in the diaspora that are really hungry like you to make a change back home, you know, to do something similar, you know. What advice or what tips do you have to give them, given that you're already in the forefront?
Yeah, so I just want, like, the first thing is to keep that notion that Cameroon, nothing can work in Cameroon, or people eat your money, or it all begin from you yourself. If you keep that idea out of it, and you know what you want to do. If you're about to make money, fine. If you want to make money from the beginning, fine. But if you think that the services you're trying to do is to help people, and I think that will help a lot, because we know that we lack, for example, we know we lack first aid emergency service in Cameroon. And that's what, I don't know, it just came into me. I said, let me do this. Because first of all, I started with BFES, right? It was an initiative that started back, I think, in 2020, which deals with like transporting newborn babies in a car seat, maybe on the comfort, because I sent a vehicle back there. We were using to carry newborn baby from hospital. So I like, okay, this is something, why not also look into another way that people are suffering? So the only advice is, when you have the great team, you have your great mind, you trust people, just like the slogan in the United States Marine said, the few, the proud. You choose your team and you trust them, you know, you start building from there, not like, because sometimes you say you don't want to put a family member there. I say I have few family members that work with me. They work because they qualify for that job, not because they are my family member. They are nurses. They needed a job, so I bring them in. I'm like, hey, you are there because you need a job, not because you're my family. You do anything, hey, I have a policy. Everyone has a policy. We have a policy here. You don't fulfill a policy, you go away. Right. So it's just about having that mindset that you want to do something to help the community first. If you have that mindset, you put that in place, you bring the team in and you train them. Because I barely sleep sometimes. I can be up maybe the whole entire night and my team will be like, don't you sleep? Or like, I'm out here. I want to get my hands dirty with you people. Not that I'll just do it and say, be that kind of a bossy person. No, I'm like, we are all friends. You own it. I own it. Each and every employee owned BFES. So when you tell them that they own this thing, pretty much they will do it as theirs. And not because you're being a bossy person, you give them orders, go do this, go do this. No.
Man,
I tell them, oh yeah. So that's the whole goal.
I love your leadership style, man. You are a born leader. This is amazing. Thanks for sharing this. This is so wonderful, you know. But we've talked a lot about, you know, very important things and your work as a whole. I just want to get one thing out. You know, what do you do when you're not working, when you're not, you know, doing the business, or you're not working in your main job?
Yes, for Saturdays, like weekends, my weekends are pretty much early morning. I'm always up. Like, I don't know when time I even sleep. Can't even say I sleep 8 hours or 4 hours a day. So pretty much I kind of like, on weekends I watch my Premier League. I watch Premier League and Premier League, pretty much the English Premier League in England. So yeah, so I watch soccer on the weekends and maybe attend 1 or 2 meetings, and also talk with my team back home and see what's happening, because maybe each and every day we have something going on, and kind of like also brainstorm on how I can move further, you know.
That's
try
great.
to contact people. And I pretty much don't really, I really don't really like say
so you watch soccer. Do you play soccer as well, or you just watch?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I play soccer. Like it's been a while, so I went back on, I think this Thursday I play soccer, and people are like, where have you been, you know? So you should be coming more often.
I know.
Yeah, so.
You know, when you're busy with your entrepreneurship, family, work, you barely have time to do anything. But when I'm in Maryland area, maybe we go kick some soccer, man. I miss playing soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
where I'm in Maryland, I'm pretty much like 1 hour, 30 minutes away from everybody.
Before we go, well, what else do you have to say to people who are abroad, you know, and people who are back home in regards to Brightface emergency service?
Okay, so pretty much I want to encourage each and everyone to have confidence in what what we are trying to do. We should have trust in BFES. Sometime in the beginning of everything we have difficulties, but along the line, as long as we are there to stay to help the community, so they should have maybe that trust in our services. And also I encourage each and everyone, those who are in Europe and you have your parents back home that you think they need medical follow-up. We have that capability about mobile health. We can go and check your follow-up on their health condition and report back to you. So maybe in the short term, we're going to update our app on the Google Store, BFES. We're going to add Bright Care, where pretty much you can, those who are in Europe or abroad, US, can go and subscribe and give maybe their family back home who they need care, and we'll go up and follow up with them maybe on a weekly basis, once a week or maybe once a month, make sure they are doing okay, and those kind of services. But there are some people who cannot even leave their house. And I know we talk about this telehealth services out there in Cameroon as well, but sometimes you can sit in the comfort of your home, but sometimes you still need ambulance to take you where you're supposed to be, because not every situation you can talk on one-on-one with a doctor online and you have that problem solved. And so I just want people, also Bright Services is pretty much open for those who have interest. We can come and we can work together and make these services available all over Cameroon, because the whole goal is not in Buea alone, because we have accidents that happen like last night. People are trapped, and we just want to do things that people will see that, at any given time they can dial a number, they can go to the app, request the services, and the driver will get an alert. Just the app functions just the same as the Uber app, where you can go in, you download, you just punch a button, and the driver will get an alert, will pick your location and come to you. So pretty much the service is for everybody. Don't limit yourself because it's a fancy ambulance. No, it's for the community itself. We want to those people who cannot afford like the real medical health, we are there for them. So they should call us, and we look forward to stay as long as the population is there. We look forward to learn from our mistakes, because sometimes we'll call, what we do, like each time we'll pick up a patient, the next day we'll call them and, hey, how you doing, to make sure they are. So those little changes that people are saying, we can't believe they are calling us from the hospital to check on us. No one does that. So those are little services that we are doing to make them not, and people are really happy.
Wow.
Yeah, the lady who picked from Bafoussam to Yaoundé, they couldn't believe that we could come from Buea, and they were so happy.
Wow.
And recently we just pick a lady too, and there's a lot of difficulties that some hospitals are facing. Like we took them to the hospital and oxygen wasn't there, so we have to provide them that oxygen. Just imagine that you use a vehicle or a bike and bring someone to the hospital, and they themselves don't have that equipment to do that. So that's why we are there. Yeah, the ambulance can provide up to 4 oxygen supply at the same time, and we have even a portable one, 2 large cylinders and portable one that we can, at any given time, we are ready. The nurses are there. And one thing I want people to know, that the ambulance was fully equipped based on the standard, how the ambulance have been operated here. So when I got the ambulance, I took the same list and equipped that ambulance based on the list. So everything is there. We have the defibrillator, heart, which is the heart starter. When people go on command, we can bring them back up. All those kind of things we have fully equipped. So people should use us. People should call us. In case if there's any event, we can always go there and partner with people, so people create more awareness about what we do as BFES.
Wow, man, you have said it all. I am so proud of what you're doing, man. Thanks so much. To come live with us, to share your story, to share the amazing stuff that you're doing. Keep up the good work, bro. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
It's a great pleasure. So yeah, we want to thank you all for joining us. I mean, you pulled the crowd. There's so many people giving comments and shout out. We appreciate that. This video is going to be available on our YouTube channel. Please, when you get to our YouTube channel, we are hoping that you can help us share, okay, so that so many people can get to learn about Brightface Emergency Service. Thank you, Cyril.
Thanks so much, Iwing Marketplace.
Yeah.